such an asshole.
All right, we got a request. If you have requests, you always go to answerconsulting.com. The world's most boring, yawning person. Blah, blah, blah. This question is kind of a little bit all over the place, but I'll try my best to answer it. Dear Cappy, I've often heard you talk about the pendulum swinging the other extreme when it comes to men and women. I've also spoken with many guys who are in favor of taking women's rights away. I'm not one of them. Neither am I. I don't know why that's such a hard. It's like, no, meritocracy, flat sales tax, or you got to be a net taxpayer. I know you all think, oh, it's that group of people over there because they're different. It's like, that is not it. It is whether you are a producer or a parasite. And there's both innocent and guilty people of all stripes in there. Taking women's rights away, it statistically might help in some regards, but it will not solve the problem. Even if a government that was willing to do this came to power, women would accept it without a fight. I think someone would go so far as armed rebellion. Okay, you got to write better. Even if a government was willing to do this came to power, women wouldn't accept. You think you meant to say women wouldn't accept it without a fight? I think someone would go so far as armed rebellion. Do you think it's possible that both men and women would agree to a temporary separation of the sexes in order to avoid bloodshed? So you're giving me the theoretical scenario. The government decides they're going to pass a decree and whatever, undo the 19th. Or women can't own property, whatever. You would think someone would go into armed rebellion. I already disagree with that premise. I mean, sure, out of 300 million people, sure, I'm sure 1 or 2 women will pick up a gun. But if you look at the Taliban taking back over Afghanistan, no, it's just not. It's just not. Some would, no doubt. There certainly would be some women, but no, they would not only at the first sign of actual death, most would just lay their weapons down. They would be absolutely crushed when it comes to the potential and propensity. That's not it. When it comes to the ability to unleash violence and kill people, men dominate. It's not even close. And when threatened with what will be a for sure death, their little idea, you'd have some diehards, you have some true believers that say, nope, I'd rather die. And there'd be some, and that would be honor, but the vast majority would. The meme when World War III comes along, feminists, oh, I'll just bake a cake, and they're in the kitchen. Yeah, once there's death as a possibility, the vast majority of guys, I would say, would do it too. But between men and women, dude, you think men can beat women in soccer? You should see war. I don't know if there's ever been like a hot sex war where actually it would be so lopsided and so devastating. That armed rebellion would be short-lived, very short-lived. Do you think it's possible that both men and women would agree to a temporary separation of sexes in order to avoid bloodshed? What I think would happen is men, despite us being evil, disgusting pig creatures, we would be like, it'd be like dropping the nuclear bomb. You'd be like, do I really want to kill that many innocent civilians? Like the bloodshed. No. I think most guys would be like, no, we're not. We would just wipe them out. It would not. They would resort to some other kind of solution. But it wouldn't be like, oh gosh, they're going to take 50%. We're going to suffer 50% casualties from the female army. No, it would be men out of charity and kindness. Like, no, this is just not. No, we couldn't do it. It'd be some moral. I don't know how. I can't put a word on it, but I think the vast majority of it would be so repulsive and distasteful they wouldn't do it. But yeah, a temporary separation of sexes in order to avoid bloodshed. Well, now if women were all pissed off and they started attacking men, that happens. DV. Yeah, it might be like, no, you're going over there. You go live on your island because we just can't deal with it because you're just punching us all the time and it's driving like, fuck that shit. We're going to go over here and create sewers. Have fun with your twig huts. But yeah, if they kept fighting, I think men would just sequester them. I think they would just be like, no, they would just like there'd be a penal colony, I guess, in this fantastically impossible world. I don't mean like fantastic in a positive. I mean it's like fantasy. It's not going to happen. When I picture the scenario, I see a zone for men only, one for women, and a neutral zone for ones that can tolerate each other. Well, it's kind of turning into that now, don't you think a little bit? Like, okay, we can't interact. We can interact in public, but not interact. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's bad. Oh, men hitting on women is evil. Oh my God. You could do it here, but not there. Why can I do it there, but not there? Well, that's bad over there, but it's good over there. Well, we're changing our mind. That's good now, but soon that'll be bad. Well, was there a part where it will be good forever to talk to girls and flirt with them? That's a good question, ladies. Is there like no? That's bad too. It's all bad. All bad. It's all bad. I see a zone for men only, one for women, and a neutral zone. I don't see this happening at all. I don't, because by that time, if it had come to where we got to separate the sexes, there is no society, there is no, and then it would be like, then you would have, well, it wouldn't be a theocracy. What would it be called? Theocracy is a government or a country based on religion. A democracy is a government based on the voting people. An aristocracy is a government ruled by the aristocrats. What would this be? A sexualocracy? You would literally just have the country of men, and you have the country of women and the country of men. I did the numbers. Link down below. A world without men. If you used America as an example, by the way, it depends on which country you're using as a base. If it was just men, we'd have standards of living like Singapore, the Cayman Islands. We're talking like $100 to $120,000 US per capita. If it was just women, they'd have the standards of living of Kenya. I don't make it up. You go look at the book. You can critique the methodology. The methodology it's all sold, man. Kelly's got it all figured out. No, just you go look at that and you go realize what the the gender crossy, the country of women, the woman country. That over there would be like Kenya, the country of men. We wouldn't be having sex, but we'd be having, well, take it back. If there weren't no women to impress, we'd be in caves. We'd have beer. That's it. We'd have caves and beer, maybe some guns because that's fun. But yeah, now I take we wouldn't be Cayman standards of living. So I take that back. The reason I think this could work is because some of the best relationships require a certain period of separation. Like a year's well, that's any relationship. I think men and women should take at least like 2 weeks off from each other. Absolutely, at least once a year, if not months. You got to remind the girl like, oh crap, what he did what now? Why is the house on fire? And then you got to realize, oh yeah, I kind of missed this aspect of her too. Yeah, absolutely. You can't. No, you can't. You're not wrong in that. But you painted a very obscure scenario, which I don't think would ever fold out, let alone the way you describe it. I think some women would resort to violence. It would be a very small minority, and they would once people started dying, male or female, they'd be wiped out. It'd be over. And you'd have a hard patriarchy again. And unfortunately, that's my concern is the pendulum is going to swing so fast and so far back. It will be a retributive, a vengeful patriarchy. It isn't going to be a fair one where it's like, oh, hang on, they're humans too. We got to, no, it's going to be harsh. That's my concern. But don't worry. What do I know? All right. Any super chats? Yeah, link below if you want to see what that world would look like. I'm not kidding. Go look at it. World Without Men, an analysis of an all-female economy. And Bureau of Labor Statistics. You can question my data if you'd like. You can critique me if you may. At the end of the day, it's the Department of Labor. Oh, it's going to be fun times. JJ Sedton, women will accept any government. There's simply no choice. If a conflict happens, it's between lazy people and productive people. Guess who wins? Yeah, over the long haul, it's the productive people. It would also be once if it gets to the point we're exchanging blows based on gender, like in a no joke war, men will just take their production. I don't know what women are going to do. Men are like 86% of the farmers, 96% of power generation electricians, 93% mechanics. Seriously, I go and I paint a world like using the data and statistics of production of what it would be like if women just were the economy. Women would, I'm sorry, ladies, I have to call it, you would come groveling back because you would starve. You would just not be able to live. You wouldn't. The sewers alone. I mean, how many ways? 1,000 ways to die in the West. 1,000 ways to die without men. It's not even close. Drew, $2. What did you do for money when you left banking? I always had. Well, I had rental income, so I always lived in a basement that I renovated. So I had rental income that subsidized my housing. I taught dance classes. I'd always work security here and there. And then at the time, I had these online courses through a company that offered courses online. This is before videos or Teachable or anything like that. And I made good money back in the day. I made okay money. It was enough to live. So if any one of them went down or bankers got too lippy or dance classes were a little light, usually the finance courses would be a little bit. It's kind of no different than it is today. It's just that instead of going through different institutions, I do it all myself through the internet because fuck those people. I won't mention the company. I don't even know if the company's still around, but they're like, this is in the blogging. It's like, we're not sure if we like you having a blog. And I kept ignoring it. I'm like, yeah, my freedom of speech, go fuck yourself. And then they offered to buy me out of my courses. I'm like, okay, sure. And I used that money to pay off my house. And they decided to fire me because they're like, I got a lower amount of residuals. I'm like, so you bought me out of my courses only to fire me like 2 years later. Fine, glad I took the bait. And what's that now? Teachable, you say, and I don't have to share my money with anyone. I just give Teachable a monthly premium to offer whatever courses I want. They don't have to be approved. Well, here you go. Teachable, go to the Clary School of Economic Philosophy. We have How to Stop Being Lazy, Achieving Financial Excellence, Achieving Minimalism, and The Dad You Never Had. I don't think any of those courses would have been approved by the apparatchiks. Drew, $2. Most women I saw were in favor of lockdowns and hiding. Look, guys, just please go read. I could give you a billion anecdotes, but go get the macroeconomic data as to what men do in the economy and what women do in the economy. It isn't fucking close, and it's not a fucking joke. It's not a fucking joke. JJ Sedton, $2. Not all women would go to the woman. No, there are some women like, what? Oh, fuck no. And some, sit down, everyone. Some women actually like their husbands and love their kids. They wouldn't be doing all, look out. I don't know. Does that produce food? Oh my God, electricity. Oh my God, logic. Could you imagine a world of people with these dumbass degrees? Like, would you know how to start a fire without matches? Be committees and be organized to have a committee and all running committee. Come on. Wow, they didn't even launch an offensive. What happened? They couldn't figure out how to attack. They couldn't figure out who was going to lead. They all died trying to have somebody else make the decision. Oh, look at all these weapons we got. Oh, that's nice. There's a little bit of dust on them. Oh, they don't work. They didn't clean them. Oh. Yaks, 200 South Korean won. They fought and won without violence, right? Yes, that that is not terribly untrue. We had this nice little equilibrium going. We had a reciprocal arrangement. Women disagree with that. We have democracy. We have first world working white collar standards of work. Women do not need men anymore, and they're making it pretty well known. I don't know if you heard. Hey, have you guys heard? Women don't need you anymore. I don't know if you've ever heard that in the past 50 years, but they don't need no man. Spread the news. Drew, $2. Did you make a profit selling your rentals? First one I kind of broke even, and then the second one I did make a profit. Yep, I did. I did make a profit. That's it. Okay, that's it. Questions, answers, Hassel Consulting. I'll see you guys later, Toodles.